Coming up on today's show, we have the latest Baltimore Ravens trade rumors as the NFL trade deadline is just a couple of days away. Before we get to that, though, I want the real ones to stand up loud and proud. Our members of the Ravens flock here on the channel. If you are subscribed and if you are a real one, you're part of what we do each and every day here on this channel, then I want you to smash flock in the comments section. Spam it as much as possible. Show some love. We appreciate you guys. Be proud. Show yourselves out and spam flock in the comments section if you're a real one. You're subscribed to the Ravens Rundown. Welcome into the Ravens Rundown, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. So glad to have you with us. On today's show, we are looking at the top trade targets for your Baltimore Ravens. Also, some possible trade rumors of a player they could be trading away with the deadline approaching in just a couple days from right now. And here's the deal. Before we dive into these players, the Ravens, where they're at right now, this is a team that is still in contention, obviously, to win the division and make it to the postseason. But clearly, if this team is going to be a real threat, there has to be changes. This roster is a good roster, but there's still room for improvement. It obviously needs to get better, and there's some obvious holes that they could fill before Tuesday's deadline that could certainly do them a lot of good. We begin looking at wide receivers. We've talked about this guy a lot over the last couple of weeks, and that's DJ Moore, the wide receiver from the Carolina Panthers. And look, the Panthers have been on a wholesale affair over the last couple of weeks. Ever since they fired Matt Rule, everything has been up in the air of what that team was going to do and some of the moves they've made. They've already moved on from Robbie Anderson and Christian McCaffrey, and there will probably be others. DJ Moore, he has been really good over the last few years, and he's played with several different mediocre quarterbacks over that stretch. You pair him up with Lamar Jackson on a contract that's not that bad for a player of his caliber. To me, DJ Moore is number one when it comes to trade targets. I like the idea of bringing DJ Moore in to this Baltimore Ravens team for a lot of reasons. Not only the talent, but the contract situation, the youth, everything about that. DJ Moore, to me, is a win-win and would be a great compliment to pair up with Rashad Bateman. Number two on my list is Jeudy, and this is a name that has come up within the last really few days. The Denver Broncos now find themselves sellers here at the trade deadline with just 2 wins on the year, a team that was looking at being a contender, being a real threat going into this year. There were high hopes, and Jeudy was supposed to be a part of that. Instead, the Broncos have been the biggest disappointment in the NFL this year. Jeudy has not lived up to the hype of what he was pegged out to be for the former first-round pick out of Alabama. With that said, I think Jeudy's got a lot of talent. He's in a system that has not helped out, and I think his best football is still ahead of him. A lot of potential still for Jeudy. Whether it's DJ Moore or Jeudy, it's simple. Either way, wide receiver has to be a priority. Where the Ravens are at right now, when you look at this roster, they're not good enough. Simply put, where this roster is at, if they want to be a serious threat, if they want to make some noise in the postseason, not just get there, but actually do something about it, wide receiver has to be a priority. You have to make changes of some sorts. Deshaun Jackson was nice, sure, but there's got to be more to that. DJ Moore or Jeudy, either one, would be a nice piece, I think. So if you had to pick a wide receiver between these two, whether it's DJ Moore or Jeudy, who would it be? Well, let me know in the comments section. For DJ, type DJ. For Jeudy, type JJ. You might get an ad break. If so, take advantage of it. Get your votes in and tell me who you would pick between these two, whether it's DJ Moore or Jeudy. Number 3 on our list, staying with the Denver Broncos, is Bradley Chubb, the edge rusher, who is off to a good start to 2022. He has played really well. Now, with that said, as much as I like Bradley Chubb and as talented as he is, he's dealt with a decent number of injury issues at this point in his career, and he's still a very, very young player at this point. And that makes you think, with a guy that's young that's already been dealing with these injury issues, it doesn't necessarily get better as you get older here. And so with that, do you want to give up draft capital and also have to pay the money it would take for Bradley Chubb, knowing there's the injury history there? That's my concern. It's not about the talent level with Bradley Chubb. It's the other factors involved there. But with that said, the Ravens pass rush needs some help. They need to get to the quarterback. Bradley Chubb could certainly solve that issue if he is healthy in that regard. Number 4 on our countdown of possible trade targets for the Ravens is running back Cam Akers from the Los Angeles Rams. And the first and foremost thing with Cam Akers that I really like is that for the former second-round running back, he's not going to cost you that much. You might, at the very most, give up a 5th-round pick for Cam Akers at this point. Maybe even just a 6th or 7th-round pick. Who knows? But the asking price is not going to be very high because in actuality, if the Rams can't get rid of Cam Akers by Tuesday, he's probably just going to be released at that point in time. Cam Akers had a really good rookie season, was a big part of the Rams' playoff run last year, but there's been some conflict with Sean McVay and trying to find a fit for him in that offense as they've moved on of sorts, and he's probably played his last game in a Rams uniform. With that said, he's still a good pass catcher, still a good runner, and we know that the Ravens have had inconsistencies with that running back position. J.K. Dobbins is going to be out for a while. You did get Gus Edwards back, but they still need another body or two in that running back backfield. We've seen the inconsistencies with that position for this team over the last few years. Cam Akers could be another good piece to add to that running back room and not cost you a whole lot either, still on a rookie contract. The final name of trade targets for me is Sidney Jones from the Seattle Seahawks. Sidney Jones more than likely will be traded coming up in the next couple of days before the deadline, as he's already been beat out in Seattle. He wants to start in one of those starting roles, but Mike Jackson was really good in training camp. He earned one of those spots. Tariq Woolen has been arguably the best defensive rookie in football. And then at the nickelback spot, Kobe Bryant has been phenomenal for that Seattle Seahawks team. So Sidney Jones, who has talent, nobody's questioning that. I mean, he won a Super Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles, but just with the injuries and bad timing has struggled to find the football field. And when you look at this Ravens team, you have a situation where Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters are a good 1-2 punch. But with Kyle Fuller, who you lost for the entirety of the season, they haven't really replaced him yet. Sidney Jones could come in and be that Kyle Fuller replacement. And we've seen that the Ravens' pass defense has been just absolutely atrocious. They've just been awful. And so with that, just finding any help, Sidney Jones could potentially provide that and maybe might cost you a 6th-round pick at that if you bring in Sidney Jones. So those are my top 5 guys: DJ Moore, Jerry Jeudy, Bradley Chubb, Cam Akers, and Sidney Jones as the top 5 targets to potentially bring into Baltimore before the trade deadline. What say you now? Will the Ravens make a trade before the deadline? Will it happen? Will we see one of those 5 players or somebody else become a new member of the Baltimore Ravens before next week? If you think a trade is going down, type Y for yes. If not, type in for no. Let me know in the comments section below. Y for yes, in for no, if the Ravens will make a trade before the deadline. Today's show is presented by BetUS, the exclusive sportsbook partner of Chat Sports. If you go to chatsports.com/bet, use the promo code CHAT125, you'll get a 125% deposit bonus. Put $100 down, you get $125 to spend for free. And whether it's this weekend's NFL action, NBA, college football, maybe it's the World Series, you can bet on it all. And you can also even bet on the NFL MVP race. Lamar Jackson right now, his odds at plus 1,000, a ways back from those of Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, and Josh Allen. Let's see if he can make a run at that for that MVP spot. Get your bets in now. Chatsports.com/bet, promo code CHAT125 to get your bets in today. Now, while the Ravens we expect to be buyers here at the deadline, a team that's still in contention, I wouldn't be surprised if they were sellers for one player in particular. We've talked about Nick Boyle in the past, but what about Ben Cleveland? He's considered by most experts covering this Ravens team to be the top trade candidate for the Ravens to move on from. And It's really gone downhill. It's escalated quickly for Ben Cleveland over the last couple of months. It started out with him failing the summer conditioning test and really put him behind the eight ball. And then he fell behind the fellow Ben guard, that being Ben Powers, on the depth chart. And Ben Powers got off to a strong start to 2022, the best start to his career so far. And then with that, he's also in the final year of his contract as well. So with all those things adding up, the Ravens have already moved on. Barring some injury of some sorts to Ben Powers, the better days of Ben Cleveland are over with in Baltimore. And here's the deal. With Ben Cleveland at this point in time, with all those factors and with the way the Ravens are going, I think when it comes to trade offers, if you get anything for Ben Cleveland, you pretty much have to take it at this point. I mean, you're not going to get much. It's not going to be a whole lot that you get offered if you get an offer for him. But if you get something, you have to take it. I know that it's been unfortunate the way things have unfolded for Ben Cleveland over the last couple of months, but that's the nature of the beast. If you're the Ravens, I know it sounds weird to be talking about trading off players with the position they're in, but nonetheless, this is a guy I think if you get an offer, you have to move on from as far as I'm concerned. Should the Ravens trade Ben Cleveland? If you agree with me, type T for trade. If not, that's okay too. Type K for keep if you think the Ravens should keep Ben Cleveland. Let me know in the comments section. Type T for trade. Type K for keep if you think they should keep Ben Cleveland. Let me know in the comments section below, and I'll see you next time here on the Ravens Rundown. Thanks for joining.